Hello guys, welcome to our presentation. This is Prerna Ponekar here and we as a group are going to present on AtlaGas Ltd. It is one of the finest companies and has been recorded for its renewable energy as a resource. So this company was founded in 1994. It grown into a 1500 employee with a value of over $8 billion. It mainly focused on natural gas and regulated utilities. They were situated in Alberta. Having said that, David Cornhill was the CEO and the chairperson. With his hard work and a lot of teamwork, he made the company a successful one. There was a hydroelectric core project and there were two parties to it or two communities to it. One was the Tahaltan community and the other was AtlaGas. They came into a contract for 60 years and this project was in picture after the contract was signed. The project was to build a pipeline for mining from the south to the north. Huge electricity and capital was required for the same. There was no need to construct a dam or a reservoir. So the basic idea was a portion of the flowing water will be divided into turbines to generate electricity and then sent to the downstream. Thank you. The rest of the slides will be covered by my friends.
Thank you, Prana, for elaborating about the background, and I would like to talk about the challenges in the Forest hydroelectric project. The project highlights the importance of community engagement, on-site management, and Aboriginal involvement in successful hydropower development. As such, these are various challenges in this hydroelectric project. By this hydroelectric project, the primary challenge is considered as that they were generating or producing a huge amount of electricity beyond the levels and the customer want to buy it. However, the electricity resources are precious and here the customer forced to use a large amount of electricity for improper and additional usage. The wastage of resources can be increased due to this overproduction of electricity and the buyer will not be aware about the availability and importance of the resources. The second challenge that faced is that the original idea was to generate power for mining operation, but it is analyzed that the mining camps were not built or constructed to sustainable over the long term of the hydroelectric project. So this is considered as one of the main challenges of this hydroelectric project. Moving on to other challenge, it is estimated that 195 megawatts of power was needed for forest care project sites, but the problem arised by the BC hydro transmission lines were resulted for 350 kilometers away. All of these were the challenges of these hydroelectric projects, and let us see how they found a way to convince the federal government that some of the available funding should be spent on building a transmission line to the northern part of British Columbia. To convince the federal government, this project is mainly focused on the benefit of social beings. It can provide electricity to the peoples at a low level and they were impressed about the availability of electricity and this make enthusiasm to the social beings. The project will also respect about the goals and visions of the authorities. Also, this hydroelectric project is upfront about the current plans or with their current plans. The major and vital points about this project is that it is important to the key players, those who are in Ottawa. This would adversely provide some additional benefits to those persons and it contains boons to the key players for their betterment in life. Having analyzed about the challenges faced by the hydroelectric projects, now let us look on to the several factors related to the project.
Hello guys, so thank you Mokshi for inviting me. So now let us discuss some of the factors related to the project. There are basically five factors and they are political, social, environmental, technological and finally the economic factor. When we consider the political factor, we can see that they had a real interest in selling the electric current to the United States particularly. And when we consider the social factor, we can see that they are trying to provide reliable energy to the people of northwestern and British Columbia, uh, who are currently using really dirty and expensive diesel fuel. And while considering the environmental factor, we can see that they are trying to achieve the growth in an eco-friendly or green manner, which is really good and great. And when we consider the technological factor, we can see that they wanted to strengthen the future of the province by ensuring good and reliable energy to the whole province, not just focusing on the southern part. And finally, in the economic factor, we can see that they had a real interest in the real economy of the BC, that is the British Columbia. And next, we can see that the war project has something to do with the provincial government. That is, they had a real part in it. That is, the company needed to contribute some money to guarantee that the transmission line was built for enough north. And they also needed to negotiate much for a long-term agreement to sell the power to the BC Hydro, that is the British Columbia Hydro. And also we can see that it was linked to BC Transmission and BC Hydro for a really long time. So now I pass this to my friend Neha to continue the presentation from here. Thank you.
Evaluating business information. Locate the data and information you need. The company made sure that they had all the information regarding the project and they knew what they were getting themselves into. Process the data and information you have located. After the collection of the data, they took steps that they needed to do. They formed a strategy that they are going to follow. Respect the intellectual property and digital rights of your source. They obtain the agreement before doing anything. First, they made an agreement, then only they started their construction work. Don't misrepresent who you are or what you intend to do with the research. They made sure they do not misrepresent themselves to the other parties. They laid out on the table what their interests were and they were open about their interest to the other parties. Why was Thaltan community so important for the project? The Thaltan First Nation, known as British Columbia, the project had an impact on their traditional territories. Their traditional territories were covering 9.35 million hectares of the area. The Thaltan community members consult all their members after coming to a conclusion. Alex and his team were ready for the challenge. The Thaltan were open to listening, but they were really guarded. In the starting, the attitude towards the project was really cool. The Thaltan leader and the negotiator, Rob MC Fee, they believed that the new projects come and go, but not leave much for the people of the community. The people of the community wanted to do something for the future in a best possible way. After some time, they started to open up to the Alex and his team. After one night, their relationship took to another level. They started negotiating. They started negotiating by laying down their economic levels, and they were flexible about everything. They wanted an open discussion about the project. Nothing should be hidden from them. After negotiation, finally they come to an agreement. They wanted to follow an communication protocol that the message that has been discussed will not go out of the meeting room unless the parties agrees on it. Whatever has been said on the table stays on the table. Dalton's share of revenue across the 60-year purchase agreement with BC Hydro. The number of Dalton people would be hired for the construction project. They wanted that the environment should also be monitored. The amount of construction work that would be contracted in a way that is partially owned by the Dalton community.
Thank you for the talk. Effective collaboration. Today and always, each organization have always faced this collaboration aspect where team members or members of organization, they always face difficulties to understand themselves, and in order to minimize this effect, to minimize this aspect, and to build a positive to build a positive collaboration in our organization, there are some aspects you need to master. Firstly, you have to build an agenda. Building an effective agenda is simply stating what needs to be done during a meeting. In terms of effective agenda, you need to present, or you need to provide members of a meeting what is going to await them, and during this meeting you have to give them the possibility of each, or you have to give possibility of each team leaders to have an assigned role that is going to do during the meeting. And also you need to master the time during effective agenda. Secondly, we talk about over communication. In terms of over communication, you need to master the non-verbal communication skills, which is body language, facial expression, eye contact, and body position. Also, you need to have good listening skills and communication skills, because you are going to communicate, and communication should be positive. You don't need to implement negative communication. And also you have to master your tone in the communication. Thirdly, we talk about creating an effective environment, that is building an environment where everybody will be in harmony. So one of the things you need to start with is by introducing yourself to the employees. That they need to know who you are. You need to remove that fear in them. You don't need to be that manager who is just authoritative. Instead, employees have to feel free when they see you. They do not have to panic. You have to build trust in them. You have to communicate with them freely, organize meeting, organize feedback. You can organize meetings, and after each meeting you need to receive feedback. If any employee feel difficulty in certain aspect in organization, you can help them, or you assign somebody to help them. You need to motivate them when they have accomplished any good task. The challenges faced by the engineers. One of the these challenges were actually immense, and one of the challenges they faced was the tubings that they needed to be installed to connect the 37.5 kilometer power line that had been built and connected to the BC Hydro transmission line. Another challenge they faced was construction a camp of more than 300 people that needed to be built, filled, and managed. One of the challenges I actually found out that really difficult was a powerhouse of 150 meter long and 8 stories high needed to be underground, but massive amount of work needed to be carved to make the room. That was really challenging. But I think they had the materials to overcome that. And one last challenge that the engineers faced that the engineer faced is construction that could involve cutting about 6 kilometers of tunnel through bedrock.
So, coming to the challenges faced by the employees. Construction camp of more than 300 people needed to be built, filled, and managed. Massive amounts of the rock needed to be carved to make room. Turbines needed to be installed and connected. Next, SWOT analysis. First one, strength. Strong employee attitude. Second, weakness. Complaints posted on the social media. Third, opportunities. Federal government interest in the sustainable energy. Fourth, threats. tolerant community. Coming to the alternatives. Sustaining trust by the regular meetings and discussions will create a sense of belongingness within the community. Monthly or weekly feedback can be taken, which will allow to resolve the grievance within short span of time. Well written contract for 60 years. Thank you. That's all for the presentation. Thank you.